Hi guys, you're in the right place if you want to learn how to draw by understanding what you're looking at rather than breaking things down into shapes. And today's video is for Dora. Dora, I'm finally getting around to doing a tutorial on the Downy Woodpecker, so thank you for your patience. Better late than never. So everybody, you need a scrap piece of paper and a pen that's going to cooperate and hopefully not to be too blotchy, but you can always have a Kleenex on hand to wipe off the tip if you need to. So for this woodpecker, you see that they're kind of a sturdy looking bird. They're kind of solid. They do have large wings, but a smaller kind of body. And the tail braces the bird against the branch while they tap the dead branch with their bill to sort of disturb the insects below the bark that think what's going on, and then they come up to the surface and then they get eaten. So what we want to aim for is definitely try to record the markings as best we can. That's really important, especially around the head and the face. And then have a tail that is braced and snug the body up against the branch. If we manage to do that, it's going to hopefully look pretty close to a woodpecker. So let's get going, and we'll start with the bill and see there's lots of sort of like loose feathers, like little whiskers around the bill. So we'll just do your best with getting the angle. Don't panic too much about the angle because, you know, we'll just do the best we can. And we just have things kind of like loose and fluffy. This white patch at the top of the bill, let's just kind of like shade this in a little bit as we go. Because if we sort of try to include as we go along what's black, what's white, and pay attention to the markings, hopefully we're not going to get too screwed up as we go. So there's quite a distinct black border in front of the eye. So if we get that in, and then it goes to the forehead, and then it's curving slightly the top of the head and back to the crest. And we know that this is black, so let's put these borders in. If we protect this area in front of the eye, this is black, and then this band on top of the head is black. We can make it larger later if we need to, but just so that we don't get too screwed up in what's black, what's white, and what's red. Now we've got, let's put in this other, we want to protect this white patch here, so let's make it like maybe bigger. It's better to make it a little bit too big and snug it in if we have to. We want to leave this white. It's not solid white. And then how about we just stop there, leaving that white, and let's get the eye in, and keep your pen away from that black border that you did at the back of the nose, because we want to have a white, those white bands around the eye. So get the dark eyeball in there, give them a white reflective section on the eyeball. Okay, the black passes by, and then there's white here and white here. So typical of a woodpecker with these black and white markings on the face. Now this black patch here, close to the eye, let's just, okay, that's black. sweeps back almost as part of the cheek. So all this is black. And then this goes on its way up. So here, okay, this is it for the white, and then we've got the red crest, which we're going to leave alone. So this part's red. This is our black. This is black here. I'm going to take this to the back. So just quickly mark that so that you know that all this is black. Behind the eye is part of the cheek. Okay, that part's black. Now let's go back to the bill. We've got a slightly darker band that is underneath the eye, and then underneath this white cheek patch. The tablet fading tells you like how much difficulty I'm having with this, getting this tutorial going. Okay, and this black patch underneath the chin, I don't know, why don't we just leave it for now? And because all this is a big white section here. Get this is at the bottom of the head and bleeds into the back. It's thick through the shoulders and sturdy. Okay, let's take it underneath the chin. See how there's almost, this is his throat right here. So we just go straight in underneath the chin and then right into the top of the chest. So keep that angle short and sharp. And this curve here, if you can manage, see where it is in front of the eye, like in relation to the eyes. You just have it back a little bit. And that gives that shows that his head is like forward. So put your curve sort of in the middle of the eye. And it has to be pretty darn sharp because it's going straight down into his, this is the very top of his throat and the top of his chest here. Now, I'm not going to curve this line in yet because I want to just see how it goes with the back of the head. So this here is really important that we have the white and the black. So keep it away, keep your pen away from the actual edge of his head. And take this black, not too thick, because we want to protect this white, big white patch at the back of the head. All these patches are like super important because it distinguishes the Downy Woodpecker from, well, as well as the size too, right? The ladder backs, slightly bigger. Oh, this is a Downy. Did I already say that? I hope so. A little Downy Woodpecker. And this at the nape, right at the nape of the neck, and see how it's kind of, just with this angle, kind of level with the eye. But don't get too caught up in the angles, because I mean, if he's got his head, if you're sketching him and he's got his head like a little bit further back, that's fine too, right? And let's just take this black around to the back. And this is black here, and this is his shoulder. So we want to sort of pay attention to this distance here, because they do have large white tummies, and this is all dark here at the top of the back. Turn your page. I mean, just because I'm not, it doesn't mean that you can't. And then this is all black. Okay, so then let's just put in, this is the top of his back right here. This white patch is really important, because that's what you see when they fly. It's all white through the back. And let's see how the curves are sort of mimicked on each side. I'm gonna maybe beef them up a little bit. They're a solid little birdie. Don't want to make them look too thin. Let's take the back nice and curved, and then we've got the upper chest, rib cage, and then we're going to have his feet here, loose feathers by his legs, and then the bottom of his tummy hugs the branch, and then we've got the fluffy bum feathers. And there is like variation with the way the wings are folded. Like these are solid birds. The wingspan seems to be, you know, quite a bit wider than the little bird itself. And then we've got the tail feathers bracing the bird on the dead branch. Okay, let's do fluffy bum feathers, the separated tail feathers. And then this tail feather. Am I drawing outside the... Maybe that's a good thing. The branch comes through here. Okay. This is okay. I think he could have been like a little wider. You know what I could do is cheat and put the white patch on the outside of that. Anyway, let's bust it up a little bit where his heavy shoulder is. And we've got our white patch all the way down his back. I have no idea how we're going to do all this nonsense. I think I should say sorry to Dora right away. And let's just put in the black borders that we can see, okay? And try to pay attention to where you put the folded wing and how much tummy you're showing. So, and then just pull that back to have those feathers fold along the tail. I have all these white tips. Yeah, this is a great big hot mess. I don't know how we're going to do this. We'll figure it out. We know that this is all dark. So how about what's important is to protect these. These are, so this is like one feather right here that has a black body and a white tip. Okay, so what we have to do is sort of protect these white sections that are the tips of all different feathers. So how about, because it's as confusing as hell and hurting my brain, let's just, the little Downy Woodpecker isn't going to mind. Let's just do some abstract patches that we're going to leave white. Okay, so all this scribbly mess right here, I'm going to keep white. Now let's go down a little bit and put in these other little white see, because they're the tips of the feathers with the white is at the tip, so we've got this nice curve here, and then we've got the jaggedy black nonsense at the top. But I think if we can just manage to put in some these little geometric shapes to sort of keep ourselves oriented about what should be white, we're going to end up with hopefully something that is going to be close to resembling the markings of a little Downy Woodpecker without doing too much of a hack job on them. Okay, what's this? This is all this and this. I feel like I'm doing fish scales. And then this comes in, and then there's like a bit of white there, and then I don't know, you guys just do the best. And I think the further that we get down the wing and the way the wing is folded, the little white tips get overlapped with other black feathers, so they're there, but not as evident. And then with this tail feather, now what we want to do is put in the black bands. It's all about what you see when the bird is in flight. And then we want to have some and since we're here messing around with the tail, I'd like you to just get this dark right now. We're going to have to do a lot of shading. Oh, hey, if you've got a pencil crayon, a colored pencil, that would make things a little quicker. And then we've got this other tail feather that goes this way. Disappears on the other side of the tree. Oh, now I feel badly that I didn't mention it at first. Because you know what? I do have a crappy little can you run around and see if you've got a crappy little colored pencil that you could use? That would make things super quick today. Might as well get a red one if you can. Okay, so let's, okay, all this is black. We're protecting our white. Elvis is gonna be black. This is white. Screwed up his profile. What else is new? Okay, should we, let's get his little tooties in here. See how these are like loose feathers off his body. Now, can you see how thick his leg is? None of these little twig legs that we've been drawing with the warblers and the little wrens and all that kind of stuff. It's nice, thick, solid leg with a sturdy foot attached. And just to make things a little bit easier, yeah, turn your page if you like, and let's just put some lines. The cartilage, this nice solid foot. This is actually, I can look closer. There's 1, 2, 3. That's one foot right here, and this toe is with this foot here. So let's just put in, got a toe that comes toward us. A little bit, and then we've got, this is a long toe here. Just do the best you can. As long as the lines aren't like perfectly straight, so it does look like these, you know, there is some, you know, joint and flex in the toe. That's good. That would be good. And some contour along the bottom of it. And then I don't know if I'm going to get myself into trouble here, but I would like to try putting in this toe that we see from his other foot. The claw. And I like just putting like some kind of like little lines through it to sort of show you know, the cartilage, tissue, whatever. And then there's going to be like lines here, and then this toe is going to join in here. Don't really like this claw very much, but it's all a hot mess anyway. Okay, and this is shaded a little bit. And then we've got some loose feathers. Okay. Now seriously, did you find a black colored pencil that you can use? If not, that's okay. We're still going to be doing detail with our pen. But this is like a good time saver. And we're just going to get our markings in. Color up his bill a little bit. Not too much pressure on your colored pencil, but just enough to sort of fill in some of the gaps. And all this is going to be dark. Let's do light pressure at first. And we'll go around all our little nooks and crannies where, is this right? Yes. Protect what's white, what's supposed to be white. Just so that we don't get too screwed up on what's what. And we might as well gray up the top of his foot. And his little tooties. Okay. Well, at least we're oriented. Maybe I can just apply a little bit extra pressure now. Got his markings in. Go over everything again. See, the thing about, I don't want you guys having to invest in any special equipment to do drawing on this channel. So I'm really wanting you just, I know we're not getting like probably the results that you'd like with your colored pencil if you're using one, if it's like cheap and awful and this scrap paper and all the rest. But trust me, I've spent a lot of money on good colored pencils and expensive paper, and it's pricey. And I don't want you guys to have to do any of that. So I want to keep this like really simple, and we can just learn the important fundamentals of drawing. See, the reason I'm talking about paper is good quality paper has more depth and cushion to it, so it's able to, you use different amounts of pressure to lay down different levels, different degrees of color on your paper. And you can't, when you're using something crappy and cheap, it doesn't work as well. But the last thing I want you to do is buy like, you know, $100 worth of Prismacolor coloring pencils and some high-end colored paper, special paper to hang out with me. Not allowed to. Oh, and I did want to say that I've missed you guys like crazy, and I'm so sorry. It's been like 5 weeks since I've been able to spend time with you, but October just completely got away from me, like completely. So anyway, you know what? I really like the way he looks, despite everything. Despite everything. Let's just chat with each other and take time to, I really want good contrast where the black is. Because with the woodpecker, it is all about the markings. So if you like your proportions, if you like the curve that you've done with his head, I'd like to just take a few minutes, go back over them, color them up, start at the top, go down and just, the parts that are supposed to be black, I really want you to beef those up. Because, yeah, with the woodpeckers, it is all about the markings. See how he has a little bit of a black eyebrow around the eye? I put that in, please. I'll give him some nice character around the face. How is your sketch coming along, Dora? Is it causing you as much grief as mine is? I hope not. And then see how dark his eyeball is? Got that nice and black. I'm trying not to cover up anything. Poor Craig, he was polite enough to tell me that because I get going and I get lost and I'm concentrating and I get confused, and I think his name was Craig. He's like, stop covering things up. It's like, oh my God, I didn't even know. But I will confess that hanging out with you guys as often as I have been, I've sort of getting a little bit more relaxed doing these sketches, which hopefully means fewer mistakes. This eye patch, this white patch by his eye is too big. Taking that in a little bit. And it's okay if this is kind of, you know, broken up a little bit. It's difficult to shade because these feathers go this way and those feathers go this way and whatnot. So you see how we haven't really done the definition at the back of his head? I would like you to sort of go back. Don't push it out too much. The tips of these feathers are white, but there should be, try to take it back a little bit. I'm probably coloring outside the screen again. How do I want to do this angle? Just see how a little bit of the black goes into the red. Make sure that this red though does stay red. Bust it up a little bit. And then we have our little white tips. And then some of the black comes through. And if you don't like the angle that you've done, don't worry about it. It just means that in your sketch, he's got his head further up. It's all good. Now we're getting into the top of the back, right here. And just try to darken these areas. Scratchy, scratchy. And then have a good distinction between the white of his center back and the black of his shoulder and wing. And see how I'm not bothering at all about highlights with the curve of the back? That's because these birds are pitch, like the black is a, God, it is a solid midnight black. So just use consistent pressure on your pen. It's going to be fine. Make them as dark as you can. And if you get screwed up with what's supposed to be white and what's supposed to be black, well, so what? As long as you've got some little white blobs through the wing, that's going to be fine. Oh, geez, see? This is going to be like a 3-hour video because I think the thing doesn't fade until 30 minutes or something. It's the second time it's faded. Well, things got off to a rocky start, so this wasn't the first time I'm trying the recording. If anyone other than Dora has a simpler bird to request, that would be much appreciated. Oh, no, I'm just joking. This is all good. I love it. Hey, I have something to tell you. I muscled my way into a holiday market at a senior center in a couple of weeks. And what I want to do is see if any of the seniors would like to learn how to draw little birdies. So I'm going to go with my scrap paper and my pens, and I'll take some of my artwork, see if I can convince anybody to buy anything. And yeah, so I'm kind of excited. Just wanted to share that with you guys. It's a very big residence. Super nice. But I think it's a kind of a popular holiday market. I don't know how many vendors are going to be there, but each vendor is only allowed, we're only getting a 6-foot table, which is great. But if you think, if some of the residents are in wheelchairs and they're walkers and stuff like that, I just hope that 1 or 2 people want to wheel up to the table and ask me about the artwork and see if they'd like to have a lesson on how to draw. And I was planning on just taking some little vector drawings, super simple stuff. Well, I mean, I don't find the vector drawings simple, but you know what I mean? Something that is just basic concept, not many lines, lots of paper so they can practice. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, you guys, you can dick around with his back later if you want to. I'm kind of happy with the way this looks, but I do want to add, see how it's true that his tummy is white, but do you see how there's like the gray? So this is actually, what I'd like you to do is very carefully, not too much, pick your pen up, lots and lots and lots, please, and just move through and add a little bit of shading and contour to bust up all these white feathers on his tummy and going into the bum feathers. Just break it up a little bit. around the... Can you give him a few whiskers, please? Around the top of the bill and underneath. Because this is also very typical. He looks like a skunk. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's an animal, it's not a woodpecker. Slightly different pressure on your pen. And so there's that, and even this white patch through the head. If you've made it too big, like I have, just snug it up a little bit with some more lines, and if you pull your pen in or through it or whatever, anything that you've done is going to be fine. It's just more about making sure we've got black, white, black, white. And this, where his shoulder is, see this, I don't have this curve right now because it's difficult to have these white feathers as an overlay. So what we're doing actually is adding like the black, which is underneath. And I would actually like to pull this out a little bit further. So I just want to have more of a curve at the top of his shoulder going into his wing, increasing this angle, this curve here. I wonder how it would go if we just can add some of our pencil crayon, if it'll stick to the paper on top of this. Not sticking too much. And we can actually do a little bit of shading here on his tummy. And there is a bit of a curve here, which I did not put in. Now, let's put them on something. Are you happy with the toes that you did? Let's figure out how we want to run this branch through them, because your sketch may not be the same as the photo, so you have to figure out what makes sense where the branch goes. And because I've split the tail here, the branch has to be a big tail feather on one side and the other tail feather disappears on that side. So if you think, and I want to have it go up to your toes, okay? Because the easiest thing to do is have him on a branch that's wider than the toes. So stick it out like that. Now, this toe technically is gripping the other side. And I'm not, see how there's a slight gap between the branch and his bum? I'm not putting, I don't know if I can even bother to put that in or if it even makes sense. I think I'm not going to. Okay. This is our Downy Woodpecker, and actually he's supposed to be going like this on a branch. Aren't we clever? So what I'd like you to do now is, we know that his body is shadowing the top of his foot. We're almost done, you guys. If you haven't all fainted and put your pen down for a break. Just shade in his foot and his leg a little bit. And define the toes, the claws, the nails. And then we know that we've got feathers that are going around his... I've screwed this up in a big way. And then there should be maybe a little bit more shading under his chin. Oh, I do like him. I won't bother showing you the little disasters that I did when I first tried starting this video. Bust that up. Nice and dark. You can make this nice and dark when you're watching TV tonight. And I don't know, what else should we be doing? So like really heavy contrast with these wing feathers against the white of the body. Like, I'm not joking, these birds are black, black, black. It's the black and white that catches your eye when you're sitting outside with your book and you see the black and white go by. It's like, oh, what's that? So instead of scribbling in the branch, I'm scribbling in the bird. But we should do, we got to do some contour on the branch. Or dead branch. It's also something that you can color in later. Oh, but wait a second. We can be clever. Got our pencil crayon. Let's darken up the underneath part. Or if you want to have him tilted so the bird's on the bottom, then this side would be darker, and the top of the branch would be in the light, right? Because he's like this, so this would be brighter, and then you'd want to do this part of the branch dark, and then graduate it up so that it shows the curve. Because we can be clever. So if anybody else has any requests, you can send me a message. And if it's too complicated, I'll pretend I didn't get it. Okay, I don't know. Like he is more than acceptable as far as I'm concerned. So there. Show me your work. I would love that. Say hi anytime, because you guys make my day each and every day, even when I ignore you for 5 weeks in a row. Okay, so have a good one. I'll see you next time.